Hey, what's going on? This is Andre from AndySanders.net. Why create a box for yourself? And this is something I picked up from my listening to my morning mindset call the other day when I had listened to a successful real estate investor and mentioned as far as when some people say as far as thinking outside the box or whatever. He said when he was raising his kids when they were growing up, he said really point blank there wasn't a box because he didn't want to put that any type of limits on his kids growing up. And that really is a good point because it's unfortunate that really there are a lot of boxes that we seem to just really create really from the beginning for like maybe how we were raised and just certain things when we get to school. There's a box on certain things too, as far as like, oh, you gotta do this way, you gotta do this that way, and then some people will say, well, think outside the box. Well, where did that box come from in the first place? You see, we just made it up. We just made it up just as human beings, and I have no idea why. Because probably, again, like I said earlier, from how we were raised, as far as just that mentality, as far as the like limits, and it's like, okay, just think outside the crowd or think opposite. But if that's it's a good point to just think completely different from that altogether when you say what box. Because I mean, some people say like, "Oh yeah, shoot for the sky's the limit, whatever." And then you also hear sometimes see some people say, "Well, say sky's the limit, but why are there footprints on the moon?" You see, there really is no limit. It's as far as what we put our mind to in general. But it's just unfortunate, like I said earlier, that there's so many different boxes that we just get ourselves trapped into. Even sometimes work environment as well, because different rules and regulations or whatever. So you see what I'm saying? There's so many different little areas where we just get basically conditioned as far as that, other than just thinking completely different. And it's unfortunate that traditional school system does not teach this as far as really just thinking this completely different whatsoever as far as what box. And that's a good point. Napoleon Hill was really implying that as well. A lot of his books early on as well, like Think and Grow Rich and the Law of Success, as far as first and foremost, taking control of our minds. You see, because most people at this, because like I said earlier, from our upbringing, we're not taught this. We're not taught this to think completely different. Robert Kiyosaki mentioned as well in his Rich Dad had put so many success principles either in his mindset at an early age, and just again, just completely different. So not even thinking outside the box because there never was a box. It should be a choice to however we choose to think, point blank. And that's also what Napoleon Hill mentioned as well, as far without violating the rights of others. You see, so this is another good point just to keep in mind as far as whatever we choose to do. Obviously, make it legal or moral and ethical. You see what I'm saying? But not get ourselves so trapped as far as doing things in a particular like way just because that's just the way it's always been done. You see what I'm saying? This little things such as that, and again, it's this that conditioned mindset that we have to pretty much brainwash ourselves to get out of that. But it takes time. It takes time, but until once we start doing so, if we choose to, then we start to realize why in the world did we even create this box in the first place? So this is something I want to leave you with. And if you got value from what we shared here, I'd love to read your comments below. I like to say this video. And that being said, I will see you in the next video.